So we'll get started on time. And my name is Tonya. It's great to be here for this comeback yoga class, all levels. And Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit organization. We're based out of Denver, Colorado. And we have these online classes as well as in person classes. Of course, that does change, fluctuate during these times. But I welcome you and thanks for being here. If you are brand new to the practice, this is a great session for you. If you're experienced and this is a good time for you, this is a great practice for you. This all levels class, I will show different variations on postures, so you can kind of make it work for your body. Um, if you want more of a challenge, you can, add some extra push-ups or something, or take the end range of the posture. As long as there isn't any pain, there's no issues to the tissues, and the more we can track the sensations as we move through the practice, the more we'll start to notice, oh yeah, this is causing some discomfort or this is causing some pain. And so that's why we kind of move a little slower, just so that you can just really take your mind inward into the body. This is a body sensing practice, and we try to bring our thinking mind out of the equation and come into a sensing mind. So, however maybe it doesn't happen right away, maybe it comes later in the practice today, or maybe it doesn't come until 6 sessions, 10 sessions later. But it is more of a body sensing practice, and so I welcome you and I invite you to close your eyes now as we get started. Can have a seat on a chair, cushion, or on the towel. You could even be lying down. And just take a few moments just to kind of sense, your body and space, nicks and crannies that may be feeling a little tight or a little stiff, maybe, or maybe just not, you know, might be your normal aches and pains, or is there something new that shows up today? So first kind of sensing the surface you're resting on, sensing maybe the touch of your clothing. You could even maybe grab your arms and kind of touch yourself, grabbing those opposite arms. And then notice if there's any smell in the room you're in, maybe something you applied to your skin that you might notice the smell of. And could you really identify what it is that you're feeling with your hands, smelling with your nose, maybe even tasting with your mouth, and picking out one specific note that might be present in any of those, whether it's smooth, irregular, rough. Is there a floral scent? Is there savory? Could you pinpoint it as maybe eggs, bacon? What do you might notice? We'll just take a couple more breaths here. All right. And if you'd like to now open your gaze if your eyes were closed and just pick out something maybe on the wall above your screen or to the side of your screen, or maybe you might notice something in my room here, maybe a color, a texture you might pick out, something that you can identify and just kind of brings you in. I try to have plants in my settings to help you bring calm to your nervous system, and I hope that that helps. All right, so let's go ahead and come down onto our mat. We'll start out on our back. And you can have that pillow, or I'm sorry, towel or a blanket if you like. And I'm just going to take mine, kind of fold it into a square, just giving my head a little something to to rest upon. Maybe part of it goes under my shoulders, and maybe you don't like that. But we'll just get settled in on the back, any position that's comfortable. And I'm just noticing the width of your body, the length of your body. Just kind of get dropped into the surface for a couple of breaths. And again, maybe noticing if there is any part of your body, aches and pains that are louder than other parts of your body, specifically noting any sensation about that ache or pain. Is it sharp? Is it warm? Is it cool? And maybe pick out something about it and just label it as that, and then come back to your breath. All right, so let's begin to move now. So taking your arms straight out to the sides with a little bend, and the back of your hands may or may not touch the floor. So just whatever feels okay in your body. And your gaze is straight up to the ceiling. We'll take the feet about hip distance. And now take your right hand towards the ground and look to your left hand or to your left shoulder, left elbow. And come back to the center, the head and the palm face up. Exhale and look to the other side. And let's keep going, alternating side to side. Just going to the range of motion that is okay in your neck and see if you can do so without lifting your head. So your head might not go too far to one side without lifting the head. If it causes tremendous amount of pain or discomfort without lifting the head, then lift the head certainly. But you might just limit or don't go as far with the head. All right, and then coming back to neutral with the palms face up. And then bring your arms down to grab your legs, both knees coming into the chest. And we'll hold either onto the shins or the backs of the legs. And with your next exhale, lift your head, shoulders up towards the knees. And inhale, lower the head, shoulders down, and straighten the arms to extend the legs away. Again, exhale, lift up. And inhale, lower down. Just keep going. Maybe your breath is a little different than what I've indicated. Maybe you have multiple breaths occurring during the movement. And we'll do one or two more. Now, holding on to the back of your legs, send your legs straight up towards the ceiling, maybe holding on to the calves, maybe the backs of the legs, maybe your feet if you have the arm leg length ratio that's, where you can get to the feet. Otherwise, just hold on to wherever you can. And then we'll start to circle the ankles, the feet, and going the other way. And then release the hands that circle the ankles and the wrists together. And then draw the knees in, bring the arms down to the floor, and then send the legs up to the ceiling. Straighten the arms. 2 more times. Pull down and push up. Actually, 3 more. Come in and up and in and up. Good. Hold on to one leg and lower your other leg down to the floor. And you might hover that leg for a little bit more of a challenge to the core, or keep the leg down, or you could even have your knee bent. And bring both knees into your chest, give a little squeeze, and switch legs. Other leg goes up, and the other leg down. And drop both knees in, forward and back, kind of rocking those knees forward and back. Maybe opposite circles. And then rolling to one side gently, maybe placing your hand under your head or on that towel. And bringing those knees in, kind of close to the chest. This torso is long. And we'll take the top arm and bring it up overhead towards the wall behind us, and then to the wall behind us. So, two different walls. And then circle it around. We'll do 2 more times this way. And then arm in front. Good. And now roll to your other side. More like a crawl, I guess. Bringing those knees out in front. And then taking that top arm, circle it alongside the ear and behind. Just going to a range of motion. You could go slower than I am or faster. And just kind of picking up on any sensation in the shoulder, maybe the back, the neck, or the chest. And then bring your arms out in front. And pressing yourself up to a tabletop position where the knees are coming under the hips and the hands are under the shoulders. Moving through cat-cow movements, little bend in the elbows. Look forward as we lift the head if that feels okay. You can either keep the head lifted or bring the head down as you round the spine, stretching the long side of the back. And then inhale, look up, and exhale, round. And just do that maybe 3 more times at your own pace. And then coming to neutral position, you can move your towel to the side. Walk the hands forward just a little bit so they're slightly in front of the shoulders. Your knees can stay down here or you can lift them for a plank. So here's a knee plank, toes under for a regular plank or full body plank. And then we'll come halfway down, those elbows drawing to the sides. It was come halfway down and then extend, straighten. Let's do 2 more times like that. Exhaling, lowering halfway down and pushing into the hands, come up. One more time. And then moving the hips towards the heels and come forward again on an inhale to that plank, to then the push up. And back up to a plank and back to the hips. Extend the fingers wide. Think of the hands like paws as you press down into the finger pads. Come forward. And then exhaling, come halfway down. Remember, you can always skip out, maybe hold your plank or hold the child's version. Using the finger pads to create some space in the palm, kind of like a suction cup in the palm. We'll do one more time. And then the next time you land or you go back towards the heels, we'll land in the pose of a child with the knees going wide, maybe even wider than the torso, and resting the head maybe on that blanket or pillow or towel, and maybe the arms forward. If you'd like to get a little bit um, relief for the wrist, clasp the hands and circle the wrists, circle the other way. And then bend the elbows, bring the hands behind the head or to the nape of the neck and release the clasp. Let's take 2 or 3 more breaths here. And then release the hands forward, palms face up for just a moment. Take 2 more breaths like this with the palms up. And then release. We'll come up to tabletop again. And again, maybe just taking the hands slightly forward, coming into a plank pose or knee plank. And then exhale, come all the way down this time to your stomach. Make your legs really strong here, maybe even pointing the toes. Bring your arms alongside your hips and lift the arms a few inches away from the floor, lifting the head and the shoulders for a locust position. If you want to add the legs, lift the legs, extend through the toes. Keep looking down at the floor and draw the shoulders and elbows towards the ceiling, maybe even the palms. Keep the upper body lifted, lower the lower body. Bring your hands next to your ribs. So this is cobra position. You can stay here or begin to straighten the arms. Use the strength of the arms and lift up for an upward facing dog. Engaging the glutes. And then we'll come back into a tabletop position or to plank. Hold for 3 more breaths. All right. And then we'll send the hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Option, knees down to the floor for a happy puppy. That'll take pressure out of the wrist. And then the hips go back and the arms just extend long. Especially if there's a lot of sensation in the wrists. Then come into the happy puppy. All right. And with your next inhale, come down, back down to tabletop. You could also do this now from a plank position. I'll show both. So coming into a pointer position with one arm and the opposite leg going forward and back. I'll take the elbow and the knee together. Take it forward and back. Exhale, bring it in. Now, if you wanted to try this from plank, you could try it, but might not be, if you're like me, maybe not successful. Maybe just the knee coming in and not the hand. Okay, and then coming down, tabletop, and we'll switch sides. Other arm goes forward, leg back, and exhale, elbow and knee come together. 2 more or 3 more. We probably did 5 on the other side. And again, if you wanted to try it from plank, maybe just the knee. All right, good. I think that was more than 5. So let's give it a break. Take those knees down and bring the forearms forward so the palms face up. And maybe the forearms or the elbows come together. That feels okay on your arms. So, like so. Knees wide. And then start to bring the hands towards the head and rest your head right in the heel of the hand. Maybe wrap the rest of the fingers around the skull, maybe thumbs at the temples. Just giving a little massage. And then releasing those arms forward. Come up to tabletop. And then pressing your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Or that happy puppy position. Now take your feet a little bit wider than the hips, maybe even just to the edge of your mat, and turn your heels in if you're in downward dog. If you are in a tabletop position, take those knees wide and then bring your feet closer together, just a little closer together, but the knees wide. All right. And then we're going to walk our hands back to our feet, bend the knees a little or a lot. Okay. So, depending on how wide your knees are, the knees can go track towards the second toe or middle toe, can have the forearms onto the thighs, or you might come down between the heels for a squat position. And then release that, come into a forward fold, turn your feet forward, and keep your feet on the floor and start to walk your torso forward, coming up onto the fingertips. Just go to a point where the heels start to feel like they're lifting. So, this is just a variation here of our dog pose. So, we press down into the fingers, just kind of shrug the shoulders, push down, and get those heels towards the earth. And then take one hand, bring it across to the outside of the opposite leg. So here we are looking under the armpit towards maybe the screen, your fingertips. You don't have to put your weight on the fingertips though. So take maybe some of the weight off of the fingertips so you're not straining the wrists. And then take that arm forward and let's go to the other side, bringing the hand across to the outside and look underneath your other armpit. And come back. Walk your hands to your feet again. Turn the toes out. And we'll come back down, maybe into a squat or maybe resting here onto the legs. All right. And then turning the feet forward, press onto those thighs. We'll come all the way up to standing nice and easy. Take your time. Get your bearings. We've been on the ground for quite a bit here, so you might feel a little dizzy. So just give yourself some time. And bringing the feet more or less under the hips. So if you haven't found yourself at the back edge of your mat, go ahead and bring yourself to the back edge of your mat. And rolling the shoulders down and back 2 more times. And then bringing your hands together in front of the heart, standing up nice and tall. With your next exhale, lift one leg towards your chest. Push into your standing leg. And then take your floating leg. You could also have your foot to the floor. Take one small step forward with that leg. And then lift your back heel. And then take your back leg, lift your knee. Steady and tall and strong. Steady might not be how you feel. Like me, I feel quite wobbly today. And then take a small step forward and lift your back heel. Maybe even lift your front foot so you're kind of tippy-toeing on the toe mounds. And then lower one heel, bring your other knee up. So we're almost to the top of the mat. If you've already gotten to the top of the mat, have to maybe adjust this next one. And then let's take that foot down, just a little step, lifting one or both heels. Last one here, heel coming down and knee lifting. Lowering that foot down in front of the other, lifting both heels, maybe, or one. And lower both heels down. So one foot still slightly in front of the other. We'll take one leg back a little bit more. So maybe about the middle of the mat. And then bend your front leg. Coming into like a warrior one here. Take both arms up. And then open your elbows out to the side. Squeeze the forearms towards one another as you tip forward. Your back foot can stay on the floor, and you might bring those forearms together. Maybe the hands clasp, maybe the forearms don't come together. You can have a little separation, but an isometric kind of contraction between those arms. And just get both legs really strong and steady. And then sweep your arms back behind you, palms facing down. Lifting those arms up and back for a airplane warrior here. And then sweep your arms forward, bending that front knee as the arms rise. Now the hands coming to the heart. And we're going to lift the back heel. So kind of just coming up onto the tippy toes. And then start to lean forward like in that airplane warrior. Maybe your back leg lifts. Not important how high it lifts or if it lifts at all. Feel the back leg lifting as your torso is forward and then touch down. That's it. Back to warrior one. Now push off your front leg and come to stand. So you should be maybe about the middle of your mat. If you're not, maybe take a small step forward and just release your arms to your sides. All right, we're going to do the other side. So taking your other knee towards your chest initially. And then bringing that leg behind maybe a foot or three, a little bit further back than a normal step. Stay up on the toe mounds, push down, and then lower that heel down and bend your front leg. Release the arms. Coming into cactus arms first. So elbows are bent like goalpost arms. And then bringing the arms down to your sides. Airplane warrior. Start to tip forward. Arms sweep back. Elbows drop towards the ceiling, just like we did in our locust pose. Palms lifting. And then keep that length and strength in the legs. Sweep the arms forward and back up. And then bring your hands to your heart. Get steady, strong, lifting the back heel. And maybe just coming to the very tippy toes And maybe your back leg lifts. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you stay on the tippy toes. Steady your awareness, steady your breath. And then just a gentle touch down from the toes, toe mound, and the heel. Good. And then release, push off the front foot, and come back to the back of your mat. Voila, here we are. Okay, one more standing posture. Come to the center of your mat, face the long edge, and go wide in your legs. We'll inhale and take the arms out nice and wide. And then exhale, let those arms float down. Two more. Inhale, stretching out nice and wide. Exhale, come down. Last one. All right. And turning your right toes out. Inhale, open your arms, bending the right knee for warrior two, coming down. And you might come a little bit lower, maybe even consider reaching your left arm back. Maybe come down even deeper. Good. And then release the arms, straighten the leg, and we'll turn to the other side. Inhale, the arms lift, turn your left toes out, reach your right arm to the opposite side, and then exhale, come down. Good. And let's hold. Make sure those shoulders are down. Track sensation in your body for two more breaths. Feeling the empowerment that warrior two provides. Good. And then press down, release those arms, grab opposite shoulders as you turn your feet forward, squeezing. And inhale, opening the arms. Let's bring the other elbow on top. And then releasing the arms. You might heel toe the feet in just a tiny bit, maybe one or two heel toes in. Roll the shoulders down and back and bring your hands to your back. You could also clasp the hands here, like so, or you could grab your towel even and have it behind you, like so. So we're going to fold forward. So either hands at the back or on the towel. And on your exhalation, tipping forward, and maybe the arms come up overhead towards the ceiling with the towel. And letting those hands come down now, releasing the towel, just placing it off to the side, and maybe letting the hands or the forearms come to the floor, or just grabbing your ankles or your legs here now. And then bending your knees, just kind of lunging towards the short edge of your mat, doesn't matter which side, coming into a low lunge, releasing the back knee down to the ground, and maybe coming up onto the thigh. Well, we'll all come up onto the thigh for an assist, but your back knee can stay down, or if you wanted more of a challenge, you can lift the back knee. So those are a couple of different options. And then we'll bring one or both arms up overhead for a crescent. We'll add a twist in a moment. So get strong in the legs, steady through your core. And again, you can do this from a lifted leg. We'll exhale and tip, 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 and then twist across to that front thigh. Again, maybe the knees down. And if you'd like to look past your fingertips, head in line with those hands, maybe. Good. And release that Hands assist onto the thigh. We'll come back into a little crescent lunge, knee down or lifted, and release the hands down, lift up, walk to the center into that pyramid variation, and pause for 2 more breaths. And then walk to the other short edge of your mat for that lunge, releasing the knee down or keeping it lifted. Use your hands to assist yourself up into a crescent lunge variation. The knee can be behind the hip or just under the hip or lifted behind the hip. And as we push down, we'll lift one or both arms up. Exhale here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink. Soften. And then tipping forward and coming into that twist. Again, maybe keeping that knee down or lifting it. Release the hands and bring them onto the lap for an assist. And release the knee down or keep it lifted. One more crescent lunge. You can keep your hands onto your thighs or bring the arms up if you like. Get real strong in the legs, buoyant in the torso, and bring your hands down. Good. Lifting the back knee and stepping forward to the short edge of your mat now and dropping both hips down for one boat pose. Hips coming down, shins lifting, maybe hands to the floor. And we'll just hold for 3 breaths. Lowering the feet down, grabbing the backs of those legs, and holding on to roll and support yourself down. When you come down, bring one knee into your chest and maybe straighten the other. Taking that same knee out to the side and maybe straighten the leg towards the side wall, keeping the opposite leg either bent or straight. And you can hold on to any part of your leg. You could also use your towel here. And bending that knee slightly, bringing it across your torso to the other side and looking away from that leg. And coming back to center, straighten your leg towards the ceiling one last time. And release. Place that foot or leg down to the floor. And bring your other knee into your chest. Another use for the towel is to hold on to the front of the ankle here or the shin. And we'll go straight now with the leg towards the ceiling, using the towel maybe on the foot. And bringing that knee down towards the chest, taking your leg out to the side, and maybe straightening your leg. You could also have your other knee bent. And just a slight bend in the knee will bring the knee back and then across to the other side, either keeping it bent or extending it a little straighter and looking in the opposite direction. And then drawing your leg back to center and releasing the towel, lowering both feet down to the floor with bent knees. You can have the towel just resting for a moment on your abdomen or somewhere. And then we'll take the towel. So it should be kind of a roll here, just like a roll about as wide maybe as your mat or a little bit longer. Take it on top of the ankles and then tucking it behind the ankles. We'll come into a supported butterfly position, the knees wide. And we'll just hold this for about a minute or less. If this doesn't feel safe for you, then you could just come into child's pose. But just noticing your breath here, placing your hands on your body for comfort. Could be across your chest, maybe giving your opposite shoulders and your torso a little comfort and squeeze, or resting the hands on the abdomen to encourage diaphragmatic breathing. And just take 2 or 3 more breaths here, inhaling to expand, exhaling to drop in a little bit more into that breath. And then gently guide the knees together. Remove the towel and bring it behind you, kind of under right at the tips of the shoulders. So your shoulders are resting. You're going to have your head on your hands, and then just kind of crawl yourself so that you kind of get a little bit longer. And eventually, you can start to slide the hips so that eventually your elbows are coming above the towel and resting on the floor. Can rock side to side, kind of massaging the upper middle back. Keep the hands under the head and then straighten your legs. And just finding that just right position could be at the middle or the tips of the shoulder blades. And settle in here for 3 more breaths. See if there's any resistance to this. All right, and then walking the feet in, we'll roll towards one side, keeping your head on your bottom arm. Extend the top arm up to the ceiling. And then take the arm next to your ear and then behind you. Let your head move now to look to that back hand. And then sweep your arm down next to your hip. Bring your arm forward. Let your head come around to look at the front hand now. And then we'll roll or crawl to the other side. Your head supported on your bottom hand. Take that top hand up overhead. And then down next to the hip and then behind you, letting your head be supported by your hand as you roll open into a twist. Just keep going with that twist if it feels okay on your back and neck. And then bringing that arm down next to the hip as you begin to roll your head to the other side or to the front again. And just pause for a moment. And now coming onto your back. Just one final time here. We're going to open up into cactus arms, back of the hands to the floor. Take 3 deep breaths, breathing against that towel. And now taking your hand to the towel, lift your hips and slide that towel right next to the heels and extend your legs now. Hopefully, the towel can go right behind the knees if that feels okay. If you like to change the position of it or position of your body, go ahead and do so. And then we'll just take one more rotation of the head to one side. Take an inhale and exhale. Come back to the middle. Inhale, the head turns the other direction. And exhale back to center. And wherever you've landed now, let's get yourself a little bit more comfortable by simply noticing whether the eyelids are fluttering or they're moving. And what about the jaw, the inside of the mouth? When we notice these two areas, you might notice there's an automatic muscular release at the neck. Maybe the ears become more receptive. Maybe the shoulders drop down. What about your palms? Feel the weight of your body dropping in to the surface. Allowing just a few more moments in silence. Returning time and time again to the breath, sensations in your body, how you might be able to release a grip or tension with the breath. Little bit by little bit, finding more and more quiet and more still. And now begin to welcome in a deeper breath. Welcome in the sensation of the surface beneath you. Welcome in the sounds of my voice, maybe the sounds in the room. And what else might you pick up as you begin to move your body, your ankles, wrists, fingers, toes, maybe even giving yourself another big squeeze. And as you feel ready, if you are lying down, if you'd like to join me now in sitting, otherwise remain wherever you are, however you are. And once you have made your way to a comfortable seated position, maybe sitting on that towel or on a chair, I invite you to join your hands together with me as we close our practice together in this place of community. And yet, we have this deep connection that we're building towards the place in our hearts and our homes. And as always, it's been an honor to serve you. Be well. Releasing the hands and lifting the gaze. Again, my name is Tonya, and I hope to see you again on this comeback yoga class. Remember that if you have the means to donate, this is how we can keep paying, our infrastructure, the instructors, and your donation means a lot to us. So if you have the means, or share with someone that might have the means or that could benefit from this practice. I look forward to seeing you all again. Until next time, enjoy this beautiful day. Be well. Thank you, EJ. Namaste.